So there's these 3 little pigs, right? And one fine day, their mother says to them that it's time they go out and seek their fortunes. And so she packs them a lunch, she tells them to be on their way, and before they're out the door, she gives them a piece of advice. She says to them, "If something's worth doing, little pigs, it's worth doing right." And so off the 3 little pigs go. And they walk and they walk and they walk. And after many lefts and many rights, they come to a lovely spot. It's right by some water, a meadow there, in the sunshine. And the first little pig says to his brothers, "I think I'm going to make my house right here." And he sets about making his house. And he makes it out of straw. And after a little while he's finished and he's got a mighty fine house. And the other 2 pigs, well, they walk on. And they walk and they walk and they walk. And after many lefts and many rights, they come to another fine spot, right at the bottom of a hillside. And the second little pig says to his brother, "I think I'm going to make my house right here." And he makes his house. And he makes it out of sticks. And he builds and he builds, and after a little while he's made himself a mighty fine house. The third pig, well, he walks on his own. And he walks and he walks and he walks for a long, long time. And he sees many fine spots. He doesn't take them. He waits till he finds the perfect spot. And only when he's found the perfect spot does he begin to build his house. And he builds it out of bricks. And he builds and he builds and he builds. And after a little while, he's made himself a mighty fine house. And there he lives. And then, one day, the big bad wolf is out looking for his dinner. And he smells the smell of fat little Piggy on the air. And he sees the house of straw. And the big bad wolf, he goes up to that house of straw and he knocks on the door. And he says, little Piggy, let me come in." And the first little pig answers, "Not by the hairs of my chinny chin chin." But the big bad wolf replies, "Well then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down." And he huffs and he puffs and he blows the first little piggy's house down. And he eats him up for his dinner. But because he's such a big wolf, and because he's such a bad wolf, he's not quite done yet, and he fancies a little morsel more. And he walks and he walks, and then he smells the smell of a fat piggy on the air. And he comes to the house of sticks, and he knocks upon the door. And he says, little Piggy, let me come in." And the second little pig answers, "Not by the hairs of my chinny chin chin." And the wolf replies, "Well, I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down." And he huffs and he puffs and he blows the house of sticks down. And he eats the second piggy up. But he's a very big wolf, and he's a very bad wolf. And he's not done yet. He fancies some pudding. And he walks and he walks, and then he smells the smell of a fat piggy on the air. And he thinks to himself, one more pig might do very nicely for my pudding. And he comes to the house of bricks, and he knocks upon the door, and he says, little Piggy, let me come in." And the third little piggy, he answers, "Not by the hairs on my chinny chin chin." And the wolf says, "Well, I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down." And he huffs and he puffs and he blows and he blows, but he can't blow that house of bricks down. But he's so big and he's so bad and he's so hungry for his pudding that he's not going to give up that easily. And he climbs up upon the roof of the third little piggy's house. And the third little piggy can hear him crawling around. And then he can hear him find the chimney and begin to climb down. But the third little piggy isn't scared. He has a fire roaring in the fireplace. And he puts on his biggest cauldron. And the water starts to bubble and boil. And when the wolf comes sliding down the chimney, plop, he lands in the cauldron of boiling water. And the piggy puts the lid on and he holds it down. And he boils away that wolf till he's just white bones. And the wolf is not around to bother any more little piggies. And the third little piggy, he lives happily ever after in his house of bricks, all because he followed his good mother's advice. If something's worth doing, it's worth doing right.